Hello, this is Amy from Rain Studios, and today I'm going to show you how to make a Celtic Visions star, a 5-pointed star. First off, before you try to make one of these stars, you need to go and watch my Celtic Visions bracelet video, because we're going to start with a good bit of it done already. So to start off with the star, I have a little section here that has 4 finished completed sections. And then on one end of my chain I have a small 18 gauge 4.0 ring and 3 small 18 gauge 4.0 rings. Okay, I'm going to leave this end alone for now, and on this end I'm going to take a big ring, a 16 gauge 6.0 millimeter ring. If you want to know the sizes and everything, I will do them at the end, but also it's the same size as the bracelet. So here's my 3 rings here on the end here. I am going to go a little bit tricky. Let me zoom in a little bit. I take a big ring and I'm going to go through one ring, and then I want to go through the last ring, and I don't want to go through the middle ring. So it's a little bit hard. There, I got it. Did I get it? No, I didn't. So not get it. This is an example of what not to do. I'm not even sure what I did wrong. Actually, I am sure. I went into this ring from this side instead of from this side. Okay, so let's try it again. I go through from this side, and then, okay, that's exactly what I want. So see, I've gone through those 2 outside rings, but I have skipped the middle ring, which is why it's kind of making it push down a little bit. And now I'm going to close that up off camera. I find that when I close on camera, it's really not a good closure. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm going to double this ring. Going to double this ring. Going to go right through that same spot. It's hard, but we can do it. Picture that 40s lady with her arm pumped. You have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, see, look, I did it. I could do it. Okay, and I'm going to close. There it is, all closed. Okay. All right. So as you can see, if we're making a 5-pointed star, here's my 5-pointed star. What this really is doing, here's my 5-pointed star. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be wrapping this around. And these 2 rings here are going to make my final 5th section. Okay, and we're going to get it almost all the way done before we try to wrap it around itself. Okay, so here's my 2 rings dangling down. I'm going to fold one forward and the other one back, like that. And then I'm going to push these 2 rings down. If you watch my bracelet video, I talk about an H. You can see the H is kind of halfway there. Here's my bottom leg of one side and the arm of one side of my H, but the other parts are missing. Okay, and that's where this comes in. You know what? I just realized this ring is, I do not want this ring on here. No, I do not. I'm going to take it off right now. All right, and actually, I'm going to keep that ring. This ring needs to go, it's going to be the other half of my H. I'm going to put it right through there, like that. And I'm going to close. Okay, so there it is, all closed. Now, we are ready to wrap this sucker around. Oh yeah. All right, here's, this is the hardest part of this. It's difficult, I'm not going to lie. This is definitely an advanced little thingamajig to do. Alright, so as you can see, here's the parts of our H. Here's the bottom leg of our H. It's kind of dangling and helpless now because it has nothing to really hold on to. We are going to wrap this around, and this ring here, we're going to open it up and we're going to slide it through here, okay? Now, this ring here that's dangling has to be on the inside of our circle, okay? Because when I put this, when I open that ring up and put it through, I'm going to be able to duplicate the top half of my H arm on top. It's going to be easy. But if that little ring wasn't there, then we'd be missing the bottom part of our H when we wrap this around, and there's no way I would be able to, you know, add a ring while this is closed up. See, there's no way I could be like, oh, let me just sneak a ring right in through this tight little spot. No, that ring's got to be there to begin with, because we could never put it in afterward. Okay, so let's get to work. I'm going to take my ring here on the end. I'm going to make sure my dangly ring on this side is in the middle of my circle. So when I turn this around, this isn't going to go up like this. It's in the middle. And I'm going to open up this ring. Okay, in fact, I do not want to open it up that much. I want it just barely open enough to slide through everything, okay? And I'm going to hold this like this, okay? Instead of holding it like I normally do, like this, I'm holding it right near the tip. I'm holding it like this, so that way I can really kind of slide this like this with this nice motion of my wrist. It makes it easier. Now I am folding all these in. I'm making sure that little dangly guy is in the middle of my circle. Now here is the tricky part. I have to go in between. Okay, we're going to have a little editing break here. I'm going to make this a different color so it's easy for us to see. So editing break. Okay, I'm back from my editing break, and I went and I took a green Sharpie to this ring on the end, and also my fingers. Yay for fingers, green fingers. And again, I'm going to hold this right here on the tip so I can go like this with my wrist. I'm folding this up and around. I'm making sure that this little dangly guy is in the middle of my circle, and he's having problems. So I'm going to see the problem he's having is he's on top of that middle ring, and I need to make sure he gets down below. So just a little bit of finagling will fix that problem. Actually, I could just go like this too. I will do that. I turned it over. So now he's on the middle. Simple solutions. Okay, so now I get my green ring here. I'm getting my pliers right on the end. Right there. Okay, now let's see if this can get this to show up nicely on the camera. So using this motion with my pliers, I can slip it way down, and I'm gonna slip it through. Here, let's try this. I'm slipping it in between these two rings here, and it's gonna go through that dangly ring that I had to make sure was on the bottom. See how it's going through there? Yeah. And then it also has to come up through that middle ring, which takes a little doing. There, it's through. See how it's through the middle ring? And now it's going to come up through in between those two big rings. Oh, we did it! I hope it came through on the video. I'm trying to watch my little view screen, but I'm also have to like look at the actual rings. And all right, so let's do it once more to make sure we got it. So here we go, all apart. I go down in between these two rings. I kind of use my little wiggling motion. See, it's not catching that bottom ring right there. So I have to really kind of work it. It's almost caught through, like it's just catching on the tip. I'm moving my pliers just a smidge. There, now it's through. See how it got through that ring? Let me point it out. Come here, little pointy thing. So it got through this. This was the ring I'm talking about. This ring right here. It went in between these two big rings. It came up through this ring. It goes through on top of it, and then it comes out behind it. And now it's got to go through the middle part of our H, which actually is not too tough. You just kind of wiggle this back and forth like this, and it should slide right through. And now it's coming up in between, like that. Woohoo! Isn't that beautiful? And now there's our circle. Pretty much complete. So now we got to close this ring, and this is tricky too, but not as tricky as what you just did, so you can do it. I like to flip my bent nose pliers around so I can really get into these tight spaces, and I close. Yay! Okay, so now there's only a few things left to do. Now we need to duplicate the other arm of our H. So we got this top arm, the bottom. Now we need the other arm of our H that will go through right there. Let me do that now. Okay, and even though it's in a circle now, it's the same principle that I was talking about in my other video. We're going through 3 layers, this ring, and that ring. 1, went through 1 ring, 2, went through 2 rings, and 3. There we go. And close. I don't quite like the way that closed. Doing it again. There we go. All right. Okay. So now we only have 1 step left to make our little star. I'm going to zoom out and get my other rings, which I did not get out beforehand. Okay, I had a little editing break there. The last ring we use to do the tips of the star is 18 gauge 3.0. And the end part is really easy and it's fun. So the top part of our H here is where we slide our little 18 gauge 3.0 ring. We kind of slip it in there, close it up, and it gives us a nice little star tip to our star, like that. Let's finish this baby off. See, so here's my star. Let me zoom in again. Gently, gently. Good. Okay. So I just take this 2. I never want to take opposing H's and try and press them together. That's going to distort the star. I want to take the ones that are naturally part of the same H, and I'm just going to go through both of those little top rings, just like that, and close it up. Just like that. Only 3 left to go. Okay, I finished those 4 off. I finished those 4 up off screen. Here's the last one. And I close it up. Now obviously, before I put this in my little inventory box, I'm going to pop that green guy out and replace him with a silver, with a non-Sharpied marker. But that is pretty much it. That is how you make the Celtic Visions star. You can use one of the the 18 gauge 4.0 rings, the little rings we use for the rest of the star. You can just pop that on up there and use it as a bail, like I've done here, for your chain to go through. And then it can hang from a chain and be gorgeous. Alright, that is the end of this tutorial. Please let me know what you think. Kits are always available on my website at Raine Studios. That's R-A-I-N-E, because I just can't be normal, I guess. RaineStudios-supplies.com. And please let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching.